All right, so good afternoon. Welcome to the Blindside Chats YouTube channel. We've hide this. We changed spots a little bit. So yeah, we're coming here to you from Seoul, a suburb somewhere in Seoul, next to a train station. It's a beautiful windy day in the spring in South Korea. From myself, Stefan Kure, and
Andrew Farrell. Nice to talk to you.
As always, nice to talk to you too.
Well, cheers anyway.
There we go.
Nice weird intro there.
Building international relations since whenever we met.
We're in the right country for that now, though.
Oh yes, we are. Yes, we are. We're not going to talk politics today.
No, but like a dream could be an inter-Korean professional league in the future. Can you imagine that?
No, I actually can't.
A team in Seoul, Busan, Gwangju, and Pyongyang, and just leave it at that for now. Like the Pyongyang Panthers or something.
The Pyongyang Panthers, Puma, something.
Yeah,
something.
Kim Jong Un's face is like the crest.
Right. Yeah, the Pyongyang Kims basically in lieu of the dynasty. But look, we're going off on a tangent, just bringing it back. So the next topic we're going to talk about here is the European Championship Cup final.
Yeah.
Right. So we have Leinster and we have Racing. Okay. So you obviously, for people who don't know back home, big Leinster fan over here. What do you make of their season so far? Obviously, not bad, eh?
Yeah, it's been exceptional. From the group stages with Glasgow, who were top of their conference in the Pro 14, Montpellier, who are top of the French Championship right now, Exeter, who are the defending English champions. So they went 6-6 in the group stages, beating all of those three teams home and away, obviously. Quarterfinals, European Cup, the back-to-back European champions Saracens to send them back in. Semi-final destroyed the Clancy Scarlets, who are the defending Pro 14 champions.
Yeah.
So now they're playing Racing Metro, Racing 92 in the final. Look, if they do win it, and they're expected to, they're 10-point favourites with the bookmakers. I don't think you'll ever have seen a run to the final as difficult as that, because you're talking about teams that are top of the table currently, or the defending champions currently in whichever sport, whatever league they're playing in. So it's as tough a run as you're ever going to get. Racing come into this having played Munster 3 times in the tournament, and they just annihilated them in the first 40 minutes in the semi-final, and then didn't score in the second half. But they did go to Clermont, and they won in Clermont in the quarter-final. And Clermont, up until recently, the last year or so, probably they went 70-odd games without losing a home game at one point in Europe and in the top 14. So, and yet at the same time, 10 points looks extremely generous, I would have thought, on their part. Maxime Machineau, who is probably in the top 3 scrum halves in the world, is out. And it's not just that he's out, you're also talking about he's a talisman for them too. He's a talisman for Racing as well. So him being out, when he is the focal point of their team, he's the place kicker, he's the leader, he's the heartbeat of that team. He's out. That is just absolutely enormous for them.
Devastating.
I don't think there's a comparison with Leinster, because if Johnny Sexton's out, it's absolutely massive. But then they still have a bunch of other players who they kind of take on the role of being some sort of leader. I think it's just crazy, and it's sad that he's out as well, because I want Leinster to win, but at the same time, Machineau might never get to play this stage again. Who knows? Then we never next year. Like, you want to see the best players playing all the time. If you want to be, and it's not like Leinster are missing players, because Sean O'Brien is out, and obviously Van der Fleer is out, and they lost Shane Beeson to retirement. So like, both teams are missing players, but it's sad though. It's a pity, because you want to see the best players.
From a neutral's perspective, well, semi-neutral. From an outsider's perspective, shall I rather say, I would have loved to have seen Machineau play. Whether he's playing for France, whether he's playing for Racing, it's just a joy to watch. But like you say, I mean, both teams are missing players. But then the buck doesn't really stop with Machineau for Racing. They still have Terry Thomas. They still have some other players.
Mark Andrew, they got quality.
Yeah.
They got quality out wide, and Nyanga was absolutely brilliant in that semi-final against Munster. He stole a lot of line-out ball. The guy is been around for France and Toulouse. He's really talented.
Yeah.
Dimitri Sharszewski, who's got a bunch of French caps, is also out, and he was their hooker on the bench. And there's obviously, when you're down to your third choice hooker, for most teams, there's not a lot going on there. So it's another lot. It's an experience loss on the bench. Yeah, they do have talent. There's no doubt about it. But National is just huge, absolutely enormous for them.
So you say the bookies gives Leinster a 10-point lead.
Yeah.
What do you reckon?
See, I don't want this to come back and bite me in the ass, but I would have thought that 10 points is generous. It's unfortunate because it's a European Cup final and we're staying that, but I still think Leinster are going to win this game by at least 2 tries. One thing was really interesting that Keith Earls was on Irish radio the day after they got knocked out by Racing, and he said that they knew that Racing tire after 50 minutes. They're done. They didn't score in the second half against Munster. So, and they're in a situation where they have big games coming up. Leinster haven't really had a big game since the semi-final, and they haven't really had a big game before that since the quarter-final. So they've been in a much better position because they've been so far ahead in their conference, so I've been able to rest players or to manage their players better. And so like Racing ended up losing Maginot last week against Bordeaux because they have to play these big games all the time. I think Leinster are going to win this game between 14 and 20 points.
That's a pretty big call, I should say, for a final, for especially you have the European Championship Cup, and then you've got Super Rugby, 2 biggest rugby competitions in the world, and to call one of the finals to be won or lost by 15 to 20 points is quite big. But I think Leinster is just it's just a team. It's every now and then in every sport, you have a team that this season everything goes right for them. They're just unbeatable, and I think this is the year for Leinster. For this Leinster team, this is the year. Look, if Racing were to win, hats off to them. But I think you just don't see that happening. Like you said, the quality of the position they've been playing, and they've been just both in Pro 14 and in Europe, they've had a phenomenal season.
Meat grinder is an expression which is used a lot in Ireland now to describe this team. They're pretty flashy when they go wide and they have a great pack, but they're just pummeling the shit out of the teams that they are facing now. And it doesn't matter how much possession or how much territory the Scarlets or Saracens have. When Leinster are moving through those gears, then they're just unstoppable. They're really, really hard to stop. And I think that's the reason why they're going to win this game as well, because I think they're going to pummel Racing so much in those opening 40 minutes or so that Racing will then be done. And that's why you might have a slightly lopsided score line at the end.
Yeah, because the second half they'll just bring it home.
There's a couple of things that are really, really interesting, and Ireland became really good at this throughout the Six Nations, especially after the French game, and Leinster did it right in the stroke of halftime against Scarlets as well. There was they won a penalty about 30 seconds from halftime, and they kicked it into the corner. Not even corner, it was still outside of the Scarlets 22, and there was a slow march up. And Ireland became really good at this as well. They almost knew, like, okay, we have to score now. And it's almost like they can pick the moments in the game where they want to score. We want to score at this moment. And in 4 out of the 5 Six Nations games Ireland played, they scored on half-time. Jacob Stockdale, I think, scored 3 of those. They just knew how to. This is when we're going to score a try. And they did the same thing. And they just pummeled the Scarlets for 30 seconds after they claimed that line-out ball. And they scored. And it just feels like that's exactly what they're going to do next Saturday against Racing too. And I just don't think Racing or any team in Europe can do that. There is an argument to be made that apart from Conor Murray, that this Leinster team might actually be playing better rugby than the Ireland team do, because their defence is way better. Ireland were always a bit sketchy out wide.
Right, yeah, we covered that before, yeah.
But Jesus, Leinster's defence is just so unbelievably impressive with Stuart Lancaster and Theo Cullen, and I think they are, in European rugby terms, they are the complete package. They have more Grand Slam winners in the front 5 than, for example, Munster, who are on the same Ireland team, have in their entire squad. They're bringing Grand Slam winners off the bench
Right.
in this tournament.
It's insane. It's insane. Yeah.
yeah.
So we're talking about like Racing. They have Terry Thomas, who's a phenomenal player, etc., etc. Nyanga, like you say, they it's not. Look, they had to obviously make the final by playing well. They didn't just happen to be there, but. Like I mentioned before, you just have these teams where you're talking about the Crusaders teams of the late 90s, early 2000s, etc. They're just, you just know this is where it's going to be. Right, so I suppose that's it for us for now for the European Championship.
We'll probably
final.
be, I mean, we can talk about this. We can talk about this final again, obviously, in more depth before or after the game, but. Yeah, my honestly, I'm going to say Leinster are going to win this by 16 or 17 points.
Okay, well, Leinster, obviously Leinster fan, so there might be a bit of a blue tinted glasses, but at the same time,
I'm going to form as well.
Doubt I'll find anybody closer to the action that'll be able to tell us. Thank you very much for listening. If you enjoyed this video. With this beautiful background, we've got the what do you call this, air conditioning and the old mop and everything. It's this very, very Urban Decay kind of like soul grot.
The Harmony 24 store.
Yes.
Harmony 24 store beside us here.
It's beautiful, but thank you nonetheless for listening, and catch you next time. Yeah, cheers.